Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we are talking all about what has worked in Medspa marketing throughout 2025 and what will continue to work throughout 2026. Now, I am just going to pull up my notes here because I'm obviously speaking off of notes. Um, but the biggest thing that I want to hit home with this video, my biggest takeaway, is going to be how to attract patients and clients inside your med spa, inside your wellness practice that don't price shop. Because I actually just onboarded a new client. She's actually from Australia. And she said she has hired 3 agencies before us, and each agency was peddling this. You have to run sales, you have to run flash sales, you have to discount your prices in order to drive in new patients. And I am not here for that. I am not here for that narrative, and I'm not going to perpetuate that because it's just not true. For the last 5 years, almost 6 years in running ads for med spas and wellness practices, I can honestly tell you that I only have one client that runs serious flash sales and discounts, and that's only because she likes to. Okay. So if it's something you like, then fine. Like, go for it. Amazing. Live your dreams. But if it's something that you don't want to do, but you feel like you've been shoehorned into doing it and that you had to do it in order to increase your bookings, in order to get new people through the door, but you only end up cutting yourself out at the knees with your pricing, you only end up having issues because you can't make ends meet because you have these massive bills, massive expenses, and you have these really expensive machines that you need to pay off, but you've been discounting so much that it's not making, you're not covering the cost of your expenses. And let's talk about that today, because I am living proof. My agency is living proof. My clients are living proof that you do not have to run a flash sale every single time that you go to run an ad. You can build a strategy. You can have a strategy that builds trust, that creates this connection between you and a new client, a new potential client, before they even walk through your doors. And when they do walk through your doors, they don't question the cost because they already know the investment, and they're excited about the investment because they know the outcome and they know the results that they can expect. So I'm going to show you how to attract clients who don't price shop, how to stop getting low quality leads with this ad strategy. And like I said, this has worked for the last 5 years. This has worked in 2025. It will work in 2026 and beyond because it's not based on anything trending. It's not based on flash sales. It's not based on gimmicky promotions. Okay. It is based on a proven strategy that builds trust, connection, and authority, which are 3 things that are never going to go away in marketing, because the whole point of building a brand in 2025 and beyond is literally making it so that people connect with you, right? People who buy from you are the ones who resonate with you. They connect with you in some way. So that's how we build the strategy. This is what it's based on. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to go from discount shoppers, so discount Danielle's clients who are, want champagne results on a Groupon budget, right? I actually saw that from my friend Cherie the other day on Instagram, and that was so good. To dream loyal clients who pay in full and know the investment because they understand that investing in themselves is worth every penny. Okay. If you don't know me yet, I'm Carolyn Hefner. I've been running ads for the last 12 years. I've been running ads in the med spa and wellness space for the last 5 years. And I have a small team. We are a boutique agency. We don't onboard tons of clients at a time. We don't have thousands of clients. We are very picky about the clients that we bring on because we want to make sure, number one, that we can get you the results. So we don't take on every client. If you're not ready for ads, we will tell you. But also the clients we do take on, we know are set up for success. So if that's you, if you think that's you, if you think you're ready for ads, send me a message on Instagram, Carolyn Grace Hefner at handle. That's my handle. Or you can send me an email at carolynhefner@gmail.com or carolyn@carolyngracecoaching.com, and we can see if it's a good fit. I also am going to put a link below to my submission form where you can fill out the form to see if you qualify, because there's obviously a vetting process. Because like I said, I want you to be set up for success. I want our team to be set up for success, and I can't do that without vetting clients properly. So fill out the form. If it's a good fit, we'll hop on a call. I'll ask you some questions to get to know you and your goals better. And even if you have worked with agencies in the past and you just haven't been able to get those results and you've spent thousands and thousands of dollars, please know that we're not all like this. Like I said, we're not all these agencies that focus on volume and getting in as many clients as possible. And we pitch you the world and all make all these promises to you. And then once we onboard you, we push you to a random account representative and you never see us again and you never get what you need again. That is the opposite of my business. That's the opposite of my agency. I've built my agency on the opposite of that because I've been on the agency side and I've worked for agencies like that. And I literally built my business to avoid that. Okay. Which is again why I keep my team small. That's why I keep my client roster small, because I want my clients to be set up for success. Okay. Let's dive into this. So the first thing, like I said, is if your inbox is full of people who have come in through a flash sale, or if your email list is full of people who have come in from a flash sale and then have never come in again, or they've ghosted your offers, listen up, because I don't want you to have to market to bargain hunters forever and ever. Okay. I want you to have a email list and a client list of patients who understand the investment that they're going to get. They understand the results that they're going to get when they come into your practice. Okay. So I'm going to share with you what's working right now, what's worked over the last 5 years, and what's going to continue to work through Q4 of 2025, through 2026 and beyond. Because again, this strategy is built on trust, and clients aren't going to buy from you. They're not going to book with you if they don't trust you. Okay. I say this all the time. This is a hill I'll die on, but clients aren't going to book with somebody that they don't trust, because you're asking them to trust you with their most vulnerable assets, their face, their body, probably things that they're insecure about, their insecurities, right? So if you're asking someone to trust you with those things, I always say these videos are a little bit more raw. I don't edit these videos. I want them to come off as real and authentic, like TikTok, because I really do think that's what's working on YouTube in 2025. And it's funny because as I was like recording that, my daughter came up screaming. If you don't know, I'm a mom. I have 4 kids. I homeschool. And she came up screaming because she hit her head in the basement with her sisters. My mom is here watching them. So if you hear background noise, that's what's going on. Like I said, this is my real life. I'm sharing with you part of my day. And just wanted to like share that little tidbit as far as like background noise, which is always also why I have this handy little mic, because it helps to drown out the background noise. Okay, so number one, the first piece of this is understanding why price shoppers find you, okay? A lot of times price shoppers are searching around because you're selling the service over the transformation. So if your focus on your ads have been, here's the service, here's what it includes, and it's just really all about honing in on the service, but it doesn't hone in on your client's results, the transformation, the authority you build, that's a problem, right? Because a lot of times price shoppers are only seeking the service and they don't, and the price of the service, and they don't really look into the transformation, okay? Another thing is your ads probably sound very similar to everyone else in your town and in your market, okay? So if your competitors are all running 20% off Botox sales, or 100% off lip filler, or a free lip flip, or something like that, that's likely what people have been primed to see in your area. So if your ads sound like everybody else and you're trying to like keep up with the Joneses in order to book new clients and bring them in with you, that's also why price shoppers are finding you, okay? Another thing is you're probably running offer first ads to cold audiences. That is, number one, a really great way to spend a lot of money on leads. So the client that I was telling you about earlier that we're onboarding this month, she said that every agency that she has worked with could not get a cost per lead lower than $150. That's crazy to me, because we've been able to get our clients leads for anywhere from like $5 to $80, $90. Now, you have to look at the lifetime value of your customer, right? So let's say that you bring in a customer at $150, but your services cost $3,000. That's a pretty good ROI, right? But if you're bringing in a lead at $150 and you run a service like facials or brow lamination or something like that, and your service is $200, that's not a good lead cost, because you're not making that much money on that lead unless you have a maintenance business where they're coming in over and over again. So if your retention is really high and you're still bringing in leads at $150, but they're going to be booking over and over again, then again, you have to look at these like metrics. You have to look at the lifetime value of your customer and your retention rate, right? If you have people that are coming in and they're just price shoppers and your retention rate is low, that's going to, again, affect like the cost per lead. It's going to affect the people that you attract, things like that. Okay. Price shoppers click on deals. Okay. High-end clients focus on the value that they're getting. And I want to get into that in a little bit. I actually think I'm going to talk about that last, because there is a way to make an irresistible offer, make a no-brainer offer without discounting and without it costing you hundreds or thousands of dollars. Okay. So here's what attracts premium clients. Like, here's what always has attracted premium clients. And this is what our funnel, what I call is like our sales funnel. This is what our strategy is built on. So number one, most important, social proof. Okay. If you can show your clients' results, if you can show their real transformations, and I'm not just talking about reviews. Reviews are great. I think you should use them in your ads, of course. But if you can show their before and after, and there is a way to do this with video, and I can do a whole other video on that. But if you can show their real transformations, their experience, if you can have your best clients take user-generated content. So they walk in and they say, hey, come with me as I go get my lip flip at XYZ Medspa, or come with me as I go get my filler refresh at XYZ Medspa, or whatever. Those ads by far do the best, okay? They do the best because peer-to-peer marketing works. Influencer marketing is a thing because people trust other people and they want to see themselves in other people, okay? So if you have a client who is beautiful and shows you their before, and then they're like living proof of their after, and they take you through the process of like what they had done and why they trust you and how you're the best and they wouldn't go anywhere else, that's going to do so much better than a written testimonial, okay? Social proof ads are where it's at. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second piece is going to be literally so basic, and you're going to be like, why didn't I think of that? It's just telling people who you are, what your mission is, why you started your practice, your origin story, right? How many clients you've served, like that authority, but also where you're located. So this is so basic, but oftentimes I see on people's ads, not my clients, but just as I'm scrolling, I'll see their ads and I'll see so many people in their area saying like, where are you located? We even have this on our clients' ads. We put their address everywhere and people still ask where you're located because people are so lazy they don't even read. They want the answer like fed to them immediately, like it's ChatGPT. So number one, social proof ads. Number two, just informational ads. Like, what is it about you that they can connect with? What is it about you that is your differentiator? Why should they go to you over the med spa down the street? Those that are loyal, those that are seeking value, those that are not price shoppers are going to want to know why they should choose you over the med spa down the street. Okay. So give them that reason. Tell them about your passion. Tell them about your mission. Tell them how many clients that you've worked with. Show them your results. Okay. Those are huge. Another thing is authority-driven content. So that's based on educational content. How can you quell their fears? How can you answer their questions? How can you talk about their concerns in a way that shows your passion, shows your energy, shows how much you care, right? That's always going to be important too. So we've covered social proof ads, informational introductory ads, okay? Where you're located, your mission, who you are, how they can connect with you. Authority-driven content. So that's the educational piece, okay? And then other pieces of content that we include in this funnel are very basic. What are your services? You should have a carousel of that. What are your testimonials? There should be a carousel of that, right? Of written testimonials in addition to the social proof ads, okay? You can just take those from your Google. Another piece is, what's your personality? Like, are the people at your med spa funny? I find like in this industry, there are a lot of funny personalities. How is your team like entertaining? Include that in the funnel. Like, you are already doing content, include that in your funnel, okay? That's going to, all of those pieces are going to build the like, know, and trust factor, the connection, authority, and trust factor faster than any organic content could, any organic strategy could, and faster than any flash sale could, okay? Flash sales are great for driving new people in, but they're not great for building trust, okay? So this is how we shift from like the flash sale to the transformational loyal clients who value value what they look like. They're happy to invest, okay? we take it from flash sale, quick price shoppers, like quick deal, to educating and storytelling. Okay. And we don't just do this with our cold audiences, we do it with our warm audiences too. Because a lot of times our warm audiences, there are people in there that are on the fence and they need to just be pushed over to figure out, like, okay, why should they book with you? Maybe they've been thinking about it, but they need to see one more video to make them make that decision. They need one more question answered. Okay. Another piece of this, so going from flash sales to storytelling, is using retargeting to continue to stay in front of them. Visibility, I've said this a million times, visibility is currency right now, okay? You have to find a way to cut through the noise. If you're only posting organically, that means you're only potentially showing up in your clients' feeds, your ideal clients' feeds, like 3 times a week. That's not enough. You have to stay top of mind if you want to compete with the other med spas in your area, okay? There's so much noise. You even know when you're scrolling online, you know how much noise there is. And you know, this is a perfect example. You'll see somebody's content that you've seen over and over again, and you have no idea what their handle is. You don't even know what their first name is. But you go to like find their video and you're like, I literally can't even remember what their name is. Because if you didn't send it or save it, you've lost it forever, okay? Don't let that be your business. Show up over and over again with an element of retargeting ads, okay, to stay top of mind. So you stay top of mind with warm audiences and warm-ish audiences, okay? So I talk about this in another video and I show you the funnel. But the funnel basically looks like this. We've got your intro ads. We've got your educational ads. We've got your value ads, your connection ads, and then your irresistible offer ads. And that's the bottom of the funnel, okay? Once the people that we're targeting see that first ad, every few days they're going to be served another sequence of ads. So they're always seeing you. They're always staying top of mind, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is the content in your ad strategy. And that should be comprised of a bunch of different things. I mentioned carousels. I do think you should always have a services carousel. I think you should always have a testimonial carousel. Other than those two things, the rest really should be video, because this industry lends itself to visual storytelling. Photos are fine, but you can't use before and after photos on Meta and on Instagram because they'll get rejected. And even if you see your competition running those ads, they are against the rules. You can check out Facebook's policies. So there's a way to storytell in video, saying, okay, here's my clients before, tell your story, take them through the process, show some B-roll, and here's their after. Okay, that's a great way to do it. You can do it with green screen. You can show it with the stickers. That's a great way to storytell, but you have to use visuals. And a great way to connect with clients is face-to-camera videos like this. If people feel like they can't connect with you, or if you feel like you can't, your engagement like isn't good, start doing face-to-camera videos like this. Your engagement will increase. People will start to trust you and see you as an authority because you're facing their fears, their concerns, their questions. You're teaching them, you're providing value head on, okay? The last thing I want to talk about is the irresistible offer, okay? So you don't have to discount your services, but it's good to, like, I know you might be thinking, like, I just want people to come in for their consult and then I'll tell them what they need. Great, that's fine. I do have a client that does this and they have $50 towards their appointment. So a lot of times the consultation fee costs $50 or like $100, $200, whatever. So one of my clients has a $200 consultation fee. And if they buy or if they become a patient, that $200 gets pushed towards whatever service they choose. So you can say, like, in your ads, $200 towards the service of your choosing, book your consultation. So something like that. And that's like a new clients only. But the way that I actually like to do it is through bundles. So basically, I want you to think of an offer. So I'm going to give you an example of one of my clients' irresistible offers. She had an offer for, I think it was microneedling, RF microneedling. This was an introductory offer. She wanted people to get on this offer. And I said, okay, like, what can you bundle with that, with like a value, to make people feel like they're getting an irresistible offer, they're getting exclusivity, they are VIP, but it doesn't cost you a ton of money or a ton of time or a ton of your staff's time. Okay. So for her, she was like, okay, I can add like an LED add-on or a mask or a post-care kit, right? Those are things you probably would already include anyway, but you can include that in your ad and say like value $100, value $200, right? So they feel like they're getting more for free, but it's not actually free, obviously. It's just low cost to you, and you're still getting money on the front end of that service. Okay. I have another client that's done like, I can't remember what it was, but she added an IV drip to it. And that's great because her staff can administer those. So that requires none of her time. And the IV drip, I think, is $100, or $150, but the front end offer was like over $1,000. Okay. I think it might have been a Morpheus or something. So think about what you can bundle together to make people feel like they're getting this amazing offer, this no-brainer deal, and makes them feel exclusive and makes them feel like they're getting more. But the cost doesn't cost you. It doesn't cut you out at the knees and like make it hard for you to make ends meet. Okay. Finally, the biggest thing with this, and I want you to go watch my other video if you haven't yet on like what the funnel actually looks like, because it will help like contextualize a lot of this. But the biggest thing with this is you do not have to listen to these agencies who say you have to run a flash sale to get new clients in. That's just not true. Okay. Premium clients trust results. They trust the transformation. They trust the provider. They trust consistency. They don't care about the deals and the discounts. Okay. Perfect example of this. My aunt, her and my uncle have done very well in life. They're pretty wealthy. She does not look at prices on things. These are the types of clients that you should want to attract. Okay. The clients that don't care about the price, because they see the end game, they see the investment as something that will make their lives better, easier, make them happier, make them feel more confident, right? Discount shoppers, if you've had enough of them, trust me, you don't have to continue this way. If you're interested in applying for ads management services with our team, I'm going to leave the link below. You can apply. You can see what it's all about. The costs and everything is in there. It's like a quick questionnaire. And if you are a good fit, I'll book a call. We can book a call together and we can see when we can onboard you. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions, as always, in the comments below. And if you have topics that you want me to cover, if you have questions you're like dying to ask about your ads, and if you have an agency that you're like, they're doing XYZ not right and I have a feeling about it, ask your questions and I'll do a video on it. Okay. Talk soon.